part of preparing your Google Classroom for next year and to make sure that everybody's starting with a clean slate is to go through and archive your classes. And I would think that this would probably be one of the last things that you want to do. So I'm part of a lot of classes here, but I want to make sure that I grade and return all the work first. So I'm going to go to review, and there's a lot of assignments are going to come up here, but I'll just pick my one class, my testing class. And let's say that I looked at this and I'm looking at those that are turned in or need to be graded. I can mark it as already reviewed, so I can do that. Just make sure everything's graded and reviewed and returned back to the students. The reason why you want to return it is because until you return the assignment back to them, the ownership of that transfers. So you are the owner until you return the work, and then the student is the owner. So you want to make sure that you grade and return all the work. So once you've graded and returned all the work and you reviewed all the work, you probably would want to archive your classes. Now, there's two things about archiving. When you archive a class, it archives it for both you and the student. So for example, if I go over here and I click archive, and it's just going to archive it, and it's going to archive it for you and all the participants. I'm just going to hit archiving. It disappears from my classroom view. And that's really important because that kind of keeps it as a clean plate for you for next year. But you can always refer to your archived classes by hitting the three, like the hamburger thing, going all the way down to the bottom, and then you have archived classes that you can call up. And the archive, you know it will be archived because it has those diagonal lines through it. Now, the problem with an archived class is that not only can you go into the class and see all the content, but let's say that you're a student. So I'm going to go to one of the students here and go to their, of course, they don't have an icon right here. I'll go to one of the students, go to the classroom, and look at their classes. So now if I look at their Google Classroom, it's no classes, but if I go to the three lines again, and I go to their archived classes, they're going to have an archived class. So they can see all the assignments and everything that you put into that classroom. Now, this might be fine, or if you want to reuse that content for the class, you might want to remove your participants from the class before you archive. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go back over here, and I'm just going to hit these three dots, which just gives you more options, and I'm going to restore the class. Now, if I restore the class, go back out to my classes, what I want to do is I'm going to remove all the participants from this class so that if I want to reuse the assignments, they're not going to have access to it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that box at the top, which is going to be the select all. So notice it selected them all. Go to my actions, and then I'm going to hit remove. That way I can remove them all at one time. If I wanted to remove them one by one, I could do that. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this teacher. I can hit the three dots on the right-hand side of them, and I can remove them. Of course, this is a time if you want to assign ownership to somebody else, you could do that as well. So I'm going to just remove that teacher. Now I'm going to go back out to my classes, and I'm going to archive this class. Now, another thing that you might want to do is if you have a class all set up and you really like the way that class is, you might want to make a copy of that class. So I'm going to go down here to my totally awesome class, and I'm going to hit the three dots again. I'm going to make a copy, and this one I'm just going to call a template. That way I know it's my template. No students are in it. I can go ahead and remove the other class if I wanted to. And then this can be a course that I could use to move over my assignments in the next year. All right, so a couple things here. We're archiving and we're possibly deleting. So now if I wanted to delete this class, I could just delete it and remove it, okay? So I'm going to archive it first. And then if I go to my archive classes, I could look at my totally awesome class, and I could delete it.